when you read the Tao of Astrology, you will be able to see very clearly how the yin and the yang, the masculine, feminine, work on their own and how they then work as creative unifying forces in our lives. Well, hello. Hi, I'm Jewell, Astro Granny. You like it? I always have a new name because I'm inventive, right? And I wear a lot of hats. So I just have a lot of names. It's fun. Bottom line is, I'm Astro Jewel, Granny, whatever. It's fun. I just have fun. Do you have fun? Here, I'm going to wear the glasses. It makes me look smart. Those are great. Okay, so my thing today is autism in girls. Now, I started reading about this stuff this year, as did most of us. And wow. Ooh, ooh. Um, I'm going to go over it with you. See, the thing is, I started it when I was young, really young, like in my teens, being interested in psychology because my mother was nuts. And the cat scratched me. I know it's bothering. He didn't mean to. We were sleeping, you know. So my poor mom, she was a mess. Now, when I was young, there was a voice in my head that said, it's the food, that my mother's insanity was in the food. Do you understand what I was seeing as a little one? I was seeing the patterns because that's what autistic people do. Is it right brain? Is it left brain? I see both. I see yin and yang here, right? So she, her nutrition was bad, but everybody's was. Everybody in the 40s and in the 50s my mother was she born in 27? That would have made her in the 40s, that would have made her, God, I'm not a math surgeon. Thanks, Jimmy Dore. She would have been a teenager in the 40s. Right. And so by the time I was born in 1950, she was in her mid 20s. Now, those people, boy, oh boy, my parents' generation, they partied, they drank all the time, and they smoked cigarettes constantly. They were insane addicts. Now, the food sources started to get polluted just at the turn of the 20th century. Crisco was invented. It was synthesized out of cottonseed oil in the late 1800s, I think. So, in that time range, that was 100 years ago. So my parents' generation, they were already inundated with what is that? The seed oil trauma to their bodies. And so they were already, just loaded on. Now, my grandmother, being born in 1900, these people never had a chance because this whole food onslaught was already starting. They had replaced lard, which is a healthy thing, with these seed oils, and everybody used Crisco, which is cottonseed oil. Do you know how gross cottonseed oil is in the cotton gin and the machine that, oh, I can't stand the reflection. I love looking smart, but it's just the reflection's annoying. Sorry. Thank you. The cottonseed in the gin, you know what it looks like? It looks like black tar. It's disgusting. So they have to go through all kinds of processing to turn it lovely white Crisco fluffy in the can. And that requires squishing and boiling and adding nasty chemicals. It's horrible stuff. It's terrible for your body. But guess what? It made great pie crust. So there you go. Anyway, the people in the 20th century, and I was born right in the middle. I'm a mid-century human. And we were all our bodies were just loaded with crap, right? And it's amazing we're still alive. I am amazed that I'm as healthy as I am, because I am like robust. But most of my life I've been stubborn about finding organic food and finding the right diet. Of course, I've been on every freaking diet bandwagon because I have to test it out on me. I don't know if I don't try it, right? So I try them all, and I have. Right now, my motto is eat real food. If it's in a package, don't eat it. Now I will eat nuts and they're in a package, but they're all nuts and they're just encased in a bag, right? So I'll eat those. Um, I'll eat the packaged pizza from Italy. It's so good. It's my bread. So when the grocery outlet, when the gross out store has that on sale, direct from Italy, Italian wheat, Italian cheese, I'll eat that. See where I'm going with this, because in America, something has gone wrong with our food supply. It's toxic, it's poisonous. You really have to watch it, not to mention all the spraying on even our organic food. So we're just few-cued. We're so few-cued. Anyway, so I saw this in my poor mother. She was sensitive. Some of us are more sensitive to physical assault than others. Some are really robust and tough. Now, if you look at the astrology, you're going to see that the people with a lot of water in their map, I call it a map, your path, your map, it's a deterministic map of what you are made of in life. Yes, it's deterministic. Just get over it. Learn to play the hand you are dealt. This is how to be happy. Why am I happy? I hardly have any friends. I know lots of people. I don't feel close to anyone. I am just remote and isolated. I love talking to a screen and looking at myself. Am I a narcissist? Well, they say I'm not a narcissist if I'm worried about it. So what the heck? You see where I'm going with this? We have so much going on now. And my poor mother, she became schizo. She really did. But personally, viewing that, I have to say there's more to it than just psychology. And the psychology of today has just become a formula that's devised by left brain people who are using their left brain to target reasons for things that really don't apply to spiritual crisis. Now, I always stayed away from religion. I was raised with atheists. They were all atheists. I'm a third generation atheist, supposedly, and yet I could not help myself. But where's God? Where's the divine? Where's the soul? I want to know. I want to know. Tell me, show me. Why am I like this? I am not a left brainer. I can't be. I try. Every time I try to use logic and proportion, I can't keep it in order because I'm a big picture visionary. I have my ruling planet in my astrology map is in the house of the space cadet, the 12th house. This is where we bump into things. We cannot see what's right in front of us because we are so up in the clouds. And the thing that modern society tells people like us is that you're autistic, that you're ADD, that you're this, you're that, and you're not. You are not wrong or bad. Do you know how much fun it is to hang out and talk with somebody like me? It's fun. It's interesting because I'm just always grabbing at all the parts of this great picture that I see. Yeah. Anyway, so how does that work in real life? Well, in real life, you look at your astrology chart and I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine if you'll show me yours. All right, so if you just take a look here at my chart, I use my chart. I don't need to hide it from anybody. It's not a secret. Let's see, I'm going to draw, I should have rehearsed, but of course I didn't, because I don't. All right, the ruling planet of your chart is here, and it's described by your ascendant, right? And my ascendant is Gemini, right? There's the Gemini, the twins, which means, duality, but it's not duality as in black and white. It's more like duality in terms of motion and stillness because it's mental. So it's not mental, physical. Venus is physical. So Mercury, the twins, is really about the ability to move. It's about motion more than it is about characters because it's, once again, it is yang, and yang things do not exist. They are ideas. They are impulses, that sort of thing. Yang is action that is not yet embodied. All right. And so my yangness is described by the planet Mercury. Well, that's going to be the boss of me. My whole life is going to be defined by the element of this ruling planet, you see? So for me, this says Mercury. Okay, that's fine. Mercury, the messenger. I'm like the reporter, right? I'm the reporter. Mercury is he brings the message. They say, don't kill the messenger. I'm just deliver the letter. The sooner the better. All these little fun quips. These are about what Mercury does. In reality, I'm really invested in that. I really do identify with that character because it's my mind and my mind is very active. So am I ADD? You might say so, because guess what? I'm always thinking. I can't shut it off. Well, I can, but I have ways. I have my ways. But you see how this works? Okay. Fireside. Oh, that's fun. I don't want that. Oh, it's kind of cool. Let's use it. What the heck? All right. So I'm experimenting. This is all new. It's always all new to me. Oh, look, there's a background thing flashing. Oh, that's fun. Oh, technology, All right. So my Mercury in Taurus and my messenger in the sign of the maiden. Now, what is Taurus all about? Well, it's all about the physical senses. Yeah. And so what does that mean? I'm going to show you. There we go. And we will again share a thing here. We will share the desktop. Oh no, here we go. Autism in girls. There we go. All right, so the autism in girls then would be Mercury in Taurus, because this is the mind in a feminine state. This is not the mind that acts quickly and runs around and delivers the message quickly like a Mercury should and would. No, this is a Mercury that takes its time and filters all of its ideas through the physical experience. Now that takes time. And if my heater is burning my leg, okay, if you realize how Mercury and Taurus people are, Liz Green and Howard Sessportis have it in one of their books that they did a workshop, a Mercury workshop, and they had all the different 12 signs of Mercury write out what they thought their mind was like in the sign that it's in. And Mercury in Taurus is the number 2 choice. Number 1 is Aries. Number 2 would be, okay, Mercury in Taurus, people tell us what you decided. Well, Mercury in Taurus had not decided. And so they went on to the next few signs. And after about 6 or 7 signs in, they went back to Mercury and Taurus and they said, well, have you figured it out? And Mercury and Taurus had not figured it out. And so they went all the way to Mercury and Pisces, the very last one. And Mercury in Pisces is kind of spaced out too. But Mercury in Taurus is not spaced out. Mercury in Taurus can't decide because they have to have evidence. They have to have had experience to know a thing and be sure of a thing or an idea or whatever they need. They're going to deliver you a story. Then they have to be sure that they're telling what really happened, because this is the most truth-telling Mercury of all. This Mercury refuses to tell you anything certain until Mercury's the mind, the left brain, has decided, has experienced it in a way that he can on every cell of his body express that thing. So for me, I'm not going to tell you anything that I haven't thought about and experienced for many times over. Do you see where I'm coming from with that? Now, that might look to psychologists like, here we go, autism in girls is overlooked because symptoms manifest differently across genders and because of persistent gender bias in clinical and research settings. Well, this might be true. Yeah. Compared to boys, autistic girls are more socially motivated, which may make their social challenges less apparent. Yeah. Autistic girls seldom demonstrate repetitive movements. Maybe. In-depth evaluations, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what I wanted to get to here. Okay, so this gets us down to fitting in, you see, and being socially observant. So it says that autistic girls are more socially observant, which helps them pick up on details that allow them to fit better in and mask. It's common for autistic girls to painstakingly study patterns on how people interact to reverse engineer normal behavior. Well, this could very well be described by an earth sign that the Mercury is in an earthy sign, because all these keywords here are about studying patterns and people interacting. This is all physical experience, reality, you see. And so this is a student of life. You know, people with a Mercury in an earth sign, generally speaking, are going to be slower to deliver your message, their message, because they will have to experience certain events in order to describe them. All right. So is it autism or is it Mercury in an earth sign? You see, because they both work for me and the keywords are similar. Now, this one about perfectionists, autistic girls are often perfectionists. The urge to fit in flawlessly, mask drives, perfectionist tendencies, sensitivity to rejection is common. Social exclusion and all that. Well, these are deeply feminine things because femininity is the glue. It is the construct. It is the physical parts that contain the spirit, right? And the ideas don't have a body. So the feminine is the body, the container for all this stuff, you see. Anyway, so back to my poor mother. That's what I call her now. I used to hate my mother when I was young. It took me many years to learn to love her. And she died when I was 32. So that was 40 years ago. It's been a long road. But let me tell you something. As long as I hated my mother, I also hated myself. I am a lot like my mother. And I could be just as nuts as she was if I had not put in the work not to. You see, that's why I do this. That's why I do everything I do, is to be a better Janet Bray Peterson. I feel like I'm a chip off the old block for sure. Now, not everybody is, you see, but I think if you are, this is a really helpful thing to understand. Because if you work through that stuff and you go, oh, and astrology is great for this. Astrology is great for this because if you work through the things that you hate about your mother or your father, but I'm just working with the mother side today. That's what I'm talking about. You work through that. And what you do then with your astrology, I looked at my mother's chart and I went, wow, she had the moon in Scorpio. That isn't easy in general. The moon in Scorpio, that's a deep mystical person there. And living in a non-spiritual, agnostic, atheistic family is not conducive to a mystic. She did not fit in. Her interests were dark and deep. She needed someone who would guide her through this dark tunnel of revelation and experience. And all she had for that was sexuality. So she got married at 18 so she could have sex with my dad. Bless their hearts, they loved each other, But their experience did not really help their souls. So you see, you look at this as a philosopher, and when you philosophize about the people who you perceive to have hurt you, you end up in a more elevated place. You see, what it does is it helped me to have sympathy and compassion for her. And I know that now that the things that she did to me were done out of her own dark suffering. And I then, you see, I go to myself and I say, but Jewell, yes, you have suffered. Yes, you have hurt. And guess what? That has made you search and find the peace and happiness you now enjoy. Now, I don't know. I may have had this peace and happiness at my age now, regardless. But here's the ticker. Here's the clicker. Here's the clincher. You get to choose what you believe. Just like the people who say, I don't want to be a Catholic anymore. I was raised Catholic and I don't like it. The health thing is just too heavy duty. They're hypocrites and I don't like it. I'm going to have something else to believe in. And that you change your belief right then and there. Belief is not real. You get to choose it. Morality is your responsibility as a human, but it is not written by gods. The gods are amoral. The gods don't care what we do. The gods come together to be us and to learn about their potential. The gods are us making choices. Now, I don't have the free will to not be the mystic that I am. I have had to walk the path, play the cards I'm dealt, you see. But what I've done then is I have figured out how to unbelieve things that did not serve me and to adopt beliefs that do. It's pretty simple when you look at it that way, because I am a logical mystic, because I'm a mercurial girl. You see? You see how this sort of winds back on itself. Now, I think that ADD and psychology and all that stuff is a problem because it doesn't address the mystical part. And if we don't address the mystical part of our lives, then we're back in the what is it? The earth, what is it called? Here I go, blank brain. We're just saying that it's just monotheistic, one divine God elsewhere and one dead earth here. It's like, no, this is not helpful. And it also is disrespectful to this living earth and our living bodies, you see. So psychology is too left brain. That's what I'm getting at. And so we just need to add more spirituality. And everybody uses that word. And what does that mean? Well, to me, it means, I call it fluffy. It's fluffiness. It's the foo-foo. And, woo-woo and foo-foo has been given a bad name, but I proudly call myself a space cadet because honestly, I do go into space a lot. And when I'm in space, I look down and I see what's going on very clearly. Now, when I come back and trying to explain it to you all, and it's dicey because the words don't match the big picture. Words are little pieces, and the big picture is a whole body. And how can I describe this whole body with 2 or 3 little words? It's just like, ooh. And then the philosophers come in and they use a lot of words and they just keep using words and words and more words. And so anyway, psychology has a good place. I'm not anti-psychology, but what I want you to do is marry it to your spirit, to your soul, and use it like a tool and not an excuse. Because we can say, oh, I'm ADD, I can't do that. Well, instead of that, I like to say, oh, I'm ADT, and I see patterns really well. I'm ADD, and I what else do I like to say? Oh, and I'm a brilliant philosopher. Of course, I can't keep track of all the details, but I do philosophy. It's what I do, you see. And so if you can sort of rectify yourself into this greater spirit thing, it's really helpful, because for one thing, you're not so lonely. If you do what I do and you say, well, there's two gods, yin and yang, light and dark, hot and cold, and they come together and make a vortex that we live in, that is us. It is in us and around us and in us and outside of us, and we are it. So that's really comforting to me. It's not a God elsewhere, because a God elsewhere is not, and besides, asking for goodies from a God elsewhere, that just, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. You can believe it, but I don't. I believe the way I've constructed this system, and I've borrowed from all kinds of different places. I've borrowed from the Kabbalah, which is my background that you can't see, and I've borrowed from the Taoist. And I'm not that Buddhist, but I get it. I mean, Buddha's here, Christ is here. You fit all the pieces together that way. Anyway, the last thing, what I'd like to do for people is I'm going to go, everybody's telling me to do live stuff, and I'm terrified because I don't know how to do the technology very well, but I'm going to do it anyway, because that's what I do. I do stuff anyway. And here we go. And do your charts this way. Just have people come on and we'll just look at a chart. We can use fake names, I don't care. And just say, what's your issue? Is it the list of autistic or ADD issues? What's your issue? And let's find it in your chart and delineate that, you see, because that way you can get a different angle on it. It's not your broken self. It is your perfect self. But to me, saying, oh, you're a perfect self, blah, blah, and just grates on my nerves. Why? Why does that bother me? I think it bothers me because it's just another pat answer. And I think pat answers are useless. It's not useful. That's why it grates on me. It's a quick fix. It's like, oh, here it is. But you don't get answers when someone else tells you stuff. I can show you what I know, and you have to take it. I do your reading because I will show you what I can find, and then you have to run with it. And you can come back to me and we can talk about how you can run with it and how it feels and what you should do and all that stuff, because that's good feedback. We all need feedback. I need feedback. Would you please tell me in the comments what's going on? Please like it and subscribe and say, hey, Jewell, that's stupid. Oh, Jewell, hey, let's have more about that, because I need feedback. We all do. Okay, so here one more thing on the Mercury, because the story isn't done yet. The Mercury story, my Mercury in Taurus, the boss of me, right? All right, here we go. There it is, the boss of me. Okay, and let me get my little, here, get my scratchers. All right, so here's the rising is Gemini, right? And the boss of Gemini is Mercury, the thinker, talker, the messenger. And that messenger is a boy, is a left brain boy. And he is in the sign of the right brain girl. So actually, that's a pretty cool thing. It's just slower than he likes to be. He's got wings on his feet. He likes to fly. And today he drives a van. But I'm just saying, this God likes to go. And when he's wearing a girl outfit, Venus's clothes, he's got tits and ass, man. He slows him down. Those big tits get in the way. Mercury in the lady sign he's a slow guy. He just is. He takes time. And he wants to feel his way through the issue rather than think his way through. So that's what I do. But then add the last piece of this fun story about schizophrenic moms and philosophical old ladies. And look at where it lives, in the number 12 spot. The number 12 is the place of retirement. This is where retirement. Hi, Batman. Batman just got up here. Retirement, isolation, observation. This is the 12th step in the alcoholic thing. What is it called? The 12-step program. This is the 12th step. And so what do you do there? You reflect. I like to say you reflect, you respond, you reboot. Oh, you reflect, you repent. You repent in the 12th house. That's what it is. And you reboot. Yes. Repent. Reflect. Oh no, reflect comes before repent, doesn't it? And then reboot. And I love this because I saw this years ago when I first started learning computers in 1998. I was already middle-aged by then. And we went to the design place, a group where these designers all had Macs, and they were like an ad agency, and they were showing us all the exciting things about being Mac web designers, you know. And one guy had it on his little computer that was a piece of paper with typing, and these 3 words were typed and taped to his screen at the bottom here. And it said reflect, repent, reboot. So for me, it is a computer tech idea, but I think it's a deeply spiritual idea as well, you see. All right, so that is the story. That is my story, you see. And so when I see all this psychology about, see, I'm an artist. When I see all this psychology about people having reasons and targeting, that's very yang, targeting reasons. So that's very yang behavior and thinking for various complexes, disorders. It's not a disorder. Okay, because let me tell you, when I read the list, I fit every criteria. Every criteria. And they say, oh, late diagnosed women, oh, poor you, 50 years old and you get diagnosed ADD or ADHD, whatever. Oh, poor you. Well, I'm 74 and I just figured it out this year. I'll be 75 in May. So you know what I'm saying? It's like whenever you get there, and you should be grateful for it. All right, it's ADD is not attention deficit disorder. That is mean and crappy to say. I say it's maker. We are makers. We have multiple attention, knowledge, enrichment responses. Do you like it? I'm going to have to work hard to memorize that because I can't remember anything very well. But my friend Patty Becker came up with that at the Artist Loft here at the art gallery co-op place. It's just a lovely place. The artists are so good. It's just great. Anyway, if you think you have a syndrome, let's talk about it. That's my point today. If you think that you have a defect or a deficiency or a syndrome, let's talk about it. Let's look at the spiritual angle. Because if you do, it's very relaxing. It's helpful. It's not an excuse. The best thing we can learn is how to take responsibility without the blame. The best thing we can do is call out the devil and then turn the other cheek. What am I talking about? You call out what's not working, what's not okay. And they say evil is just when you get a little bit too far away from your heart. The heart is the center. It's where the two are wrapping, the yin and yang are wrapped tight in a rhythm. Boom, 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 boom. And if you try to unwrap that too wide, it's painful and it's not okay. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're attempting to come together and wrap the yin with the yang in the center of our beings. And I think if we add the spiritual aspect, the yin, the big picture lady, we add her into our rational observations, yeah, and our ideas and our ideals and our wishes, those are all yang, then we can come to a consensus of truth for all of us that's going to be really meaningful and not just pressured and put on us, you see. We need to do this now because evidently there's technology that's trying to make our bodies go away and dissolve or not be important and not exist. If we don't have our bodies, this project is over, you see. This uniting the gods project is over. The left brain is an insane megalomaniac and he needs a spanking. Okay, that said, I would love to help you find your center. Let's do it with my interpretations. And hopefully I can make it understandable for you to see how it fits into your life. Okay? Big love, big like, big subscribe, big share. Share it because if more people see this work, then we can all get we can use it for more people, you see. So share it too. Appreciate that. All right. Take care. Thank you for watching. Have you ever wanted to get a reading and you never have yet? Well, now's the time because I have a Kickstarter event that's going on to the end of this month, and you can get all of you can get 5 offerings. And why would you want an astrology reading? In astrology, you can find out why your focus is changing and what to focus on. Also, there's timing. As the energies move around the chart and around the sky, you get, oh, now it's time to focus on that one, on this character, on this event, on this feeling. You see, all of these things go together. Yeah. Why the Tao of astrology? Well, because the Tao for me is a way to simplify all the confusing possibilities. When you read the Tao of astrology, you will be able to see very clearly how the yin and the yang, the masculine, feminine, work on their own and how they then work as creative unifying forces in our lives.